third and Smooth Salute, 4 off the pace in fourth. Empire's Classic at the back of the field. They string out into single file already with Geometry, the favorite, in charge. Leads at a length and a half. Gem Mint 10's pretty eager in second. Another 3 Promisio third. Smooth Salute, 5 off the pace, and 7 or 8 more back to Empire's Classic. Into the first turn, Antonio Fresu and Geometry clear by 2 lengths. Gem Mint 10 remains second. Another 3 now back to Promisio third, 4 clear of Smooth Salute, and Empire's Classic is a dozen lengths off the pace. Geometry onto the backstretch, 3 parts of a length. Gem Mint 10 trying to keep him honest and doing just that second. Another 2 back to Promisio, who's been cruising along in third. 4 more Smooth Salute. Empire's Classic is underway. He was far back earlier, now within 7 or 8 from Geometry. Geometry into the far turn, the controlling speed, maintains a 2-length advantage. Gem Mint 10 set down now, once again trying to close that gap within a half length of him. Then Promisio in third, Empire's Classic, Smooth Salute, a quarter of a mile to go. And Gem Mint 10 is on even terms with Geometry. Now they're joined by Promisio, who's had the dream trip, and he's coming after them now with 1 furlong to go. Empire's Classic angles to the center of the course. Geometry under pressure. Promisio between, and Empire's Classic is rolling down the center of the course. Empire's Classic in full flight after Geometry. Geometry, Empire's Classic. Here is the line. Geometry held on. Empire's Classic just missed. Smooth Salute won the photo for third. One more. They're in the gate. And they're off. Geometry is very quick, so is Gem Mint 10, and those two. And they're off. Very tardy beginning for Brahms Mendelssohn. It's a good one for Next Trick, who's going out for the lead with Rachel's Gig. Those two vie for command into the first turn. A very erratic Brahms Mendelssohn will now try a 6-wide move into the first turn. In the meantime, Stage Run comes through at the rail. He didn't have much early speed, but is in the thick of it now, third and 2 lengths off the leader. Irish Element is fourth, followed by Silversmith. And then comes Brahms Mendelssohn at the back of the field. It has not been a fun opening quarter mile or so for him. They run down the backstretch, and it's Next Trick to the 5/8 pole, leading half a length over Irish Element in second. At the rails, Stage Run a joint third, coming to the half-mile pole, and Silversmith just outside of him. Rachel's Gig is in between those two, and Brahms Mendelssohn trails. Into the far turn, Next Trick, Irish Element, the odds-on choice alongside second. 2 more. Kimura gets after Stage Run, trying to keep pace third. Brahms Mendelssohn takes fourth. He's now 4 lengths off them, leaving Rachel's Gig and Silversmith at the back. A quarter of a mile to go, and Irish Element and Next Trick are 4 lengths clear. Stage Run guided to the center of the track, but not making any headway. Then Brahms Mendelssohn. They're coming to the 8th pole, and it's Irish Element and a stubborn Next Trick fighting him all the way. Irish Element's in front, though. Has it a little more than half a length now over Next Trick, who tried his best, but will just complete the exacta behind the popular Irish Element, who was simply too strong. Wins by 3 lengths. Next Trick second. Stage Run third. Brahms Mendelssohn fourth. Shortened post parades today. Finn Cairn going in. And they're off. Awkward jump right out of the gate for Smiling Tizzy, and White Mountain was off slowly. Fincairn is going out for the early lead. Smiling Tizzy has speed. Mischief Moments is one from the inside, and Grandissimo hugs the rail and is currently now moving up to be a joint second. White Mountain is at the back of the field. So it is Fincairn, the big long shot, who sprints clear now, has a 3.5 length advantage. Smiling Tizzy is now a clear-cut, comfortable second, and Grandissimo at the rail third. Then comes Mischief Moments and White Mountain at the back. Past the 5/8 pole. And the lead belongs to Fincairn, still in front, widening again to be in front by 4. On the inside, Grandissimo and Smiling Tizzy sharing second, a 1.5 lengths, White Mountain and Mischief Moments. The lead of Fincairn's is diminishing at a rapid rate. Grandissimo looking for a spot on the inside. He found it, and here's Grandissimo to engage. Smiling Tizzy is outside of them, third, a 1.5 lengths off the pace. Then comes White Mountain and Mischief Moments. They're a 1/4 mile from home, and Grandissimo is just in front of Fincairn. In behind them, White Mountain is trying to launch a bit. He has a big spot between horses, if good enough. And then Smiling Tizzy, 1 furlong out, and it's Grandissimo clear by 4 lengths. A game White Mountain is trying his best. He's within 3 now past the 16th pole. Grandissimo. It will be Grandissimo. And Vicente del Cid to win by 3. White Mountain second, long way back. Fincairn got the show dough. Our agenda completes the line. And they're off. Cosmo Friday is one of the first out of the gate. At the rail, Pantages has some early interest and now kicks through to take a narrow advantage. So it's Pantages in front. Grays over Bays is now moving into second. They are followed by Sugar Rain racing in between horses. Our agenda now puts her head right into the third spot. At the rail, Tulavia's World moves up inside of Sugar Rain. Another 2. Cosmo Friday is now losing some ground. It's a big gap to the 2 trailers. Hard-Hearted and Hot Rod Christine is at the back of the field. It's Pantages pressed by Grays over Bays. Those 2 will arrive at the 1/4 pole together, and Grays over Bays is up to take the lead. Tulavia's World is in third. Cosmo Friday is revving up dangerously, has to get to Grays over Bays with 1 furlong to go. But here comes Cosmo Friday within a length. Grays over Bays, Cosmo Friday on the outside. Cosmo Friday with a sustained bid will pull clear late to win convincingly. Grays over Bays was second, Sugar Rain third, Tulavia's World was fourth. And they're off. Willow in the Wind and Go-Go Tiz vying for the lead. She's back. Good golly dolly. Real Lucky in Love is the gray sprinting up outside of them. Susie's Loaded second to last, leaving Julia Street at the back. 6 lengths covers them. It's Go-Go Tiz and Armando Ayuso taking them to the 6 furlong pole in front by a 1.5 lengths. Willow in the Wind is second. She's back a 3 wide third. 2 more, Good Golly Dolly outside Susie's Loaded. It's another 3, Julia Street and Real Lucky in Love. Down the back stretch, and it is Go-Go Tiz. Worked upon a bit, but does have the lead coming to the half-mile pole. with Willow in the Wind a length and a half away second. She's back good. Golly Dolly in the green, and at the rails, Susie's Loaded is about 3.5 lengths or so off the stablemate. Go Tiz into the far turn. Now it's back to 5 as Susie's Loaded is dropping out of it. Julia Street is next. Real Lucky in Love far behind. Go Tiz takes them to the quarter pole, 3/4 of a length. Willow in the Wind is now moving boldly to challenge. These two are head and head with 1/4 of a mile to go. And Good Golly Dolly will angle outside of them for the drive. They turn for home. Willow in the Wind and Good Golly Dolly on the outside. At the rail, Go Tiz not done fighting, but it's Good Golly Dolly who takes over and turns the lights out. That's 3 for Doug O'Neill. Good Golly Dolly. Abel Lescano drawing off. Wins by 8 lengths. Go Tiz second. Willow in the Wind third. Then she's back. Shin Jedi to the outside. Going in. We're in the gate. And they're off. Special Flower in the center of the course is out very alertly. So is Tam's Little Angel. And in between horses, Invincible Molly. Shangri-Lama is in the mix too as they cross the dirt. Here's Headed for in the green colors down at the rail, taking 4th. Then at the back of the field, a 3-wide Shin Jedi. Candy Bar in between, and Petite Treat steadied ever so slightly and is 8 lengths off the lead. And that lead belongs to Invincible Molly with a half mile to go. Opening up nearly a length on Shangri-Lama in second. Then Tam's Little Angel in between horses. Shin Jedi has moved very nicely right into contention. And just like that, Shin Jedi is coming after Invincible Molly on the far turn. Invincible Molly on the inside, and Shin Jedi nose to nose. 2 lengths back, Shangri-Lama. Tam's Little Angel is racing in between horses as they reach the top of the stretch. Invincible Molly is just in front. Shin Jedi took a shot but is now flattening out. Shangri-Lama's coming back now and kicking into high gear, and Shangri-Lama is the leader with a 16 to go. Candy Bar in the pink, far outside Special Flower. It's Shangri-Lama to win by half a length. Second to Invincible Molly. Special Flower was third, multiple horses in a photo for 4th, including a flying Petite Treat. Stay in line. And they're off. Ryan's Girl and Lavender Love, the first 2 out after a slight stutter step. Stay in line is in third. Dory Miller 4th. Buds and Suds at the back. No shortage of tempo as Lavender Love flies along on the front end to lead it by 2 lengths. Ryan's Girl is second. At the rail, Dory Miller is keen at the inside, just 2 lengths off the lead, tossing her head about just a bit as she tries to move forward. Stay in line is 3 deep with less than 6 furlongs to go. Buds and Suds at the back of a compact field. It's Lavender Love with 5 furlongs to run. Showing the way over Dory Miller on the inside. Ryan's Girl currently second, and Stay in Line keeping pace outside of them, 3 deep with a half mile left to go. Now it's 5 to Buds and Suds. Lavender Love left alone so far. Dory Miller awaiting a spot along the inside with Ryan's Girl right next to her. Stay in Line has lost some ground, coming under serious pressure, 4 lengths off the lead. It's a distance to Buds and Suds. They're 1/4 of a mile from home. Lavender Love is still there. The other gray, Ryan's girl, Dory Miller, just needs room. She hasn't had it in a long time. Where will Dory Miller go at the 8th pole, where Lavender Love has a 2-length lead? Breathing room for Dory Miller, who's now 3 lengths behind inside the final 1/8 of a mile, and Lavender Love had another gear. Lavender Love takes them coast to coast. 3.5 when the smoke cleared. Dory Miller clearly second best. Ryan's girl third. Then stay in line. In cash prizes. Good luck at the horseshoe. They're in the gate. And they're off. Very even start. Binging in the center of the track is out very alertly. The big Cheezola has plenty of early speed, as does Devil Moon coming through at the rail. Hey Brother is close up, now racing in third. Binging back to fourth, 4 off the lead. Habeas in the pink is next. It's another couple of lengths. Wind Ribbon is down on the inside. Passed just now by Winds of Freedom, who's 8 lengths off the lead. At the back of the field is Carol's Comic, and 2 in front of him at this stage trying to make some headway, Broadway Unions. There's a 1/4 of a mile to go, and Hey Brother makes a bold move for the lead. Hey Brother in charge at the top of the stretch, turns for home, putting away Devil Moon, and has an 1/8 of a mile to finish the job. Hey Brother, a lineup of 5 or 6, Binging, Broadway Unions in between, and Winds of Freedom on the outside. 16th pole, Hey Brother and Armando Aguilar looking for the line. Broadway Unions with a late charge. Too little, too late. Hey Brother gets the money. Second went to Broadway Unions. Winds of Freedom third. Binging was fourth. We're in the gate. And they're off. Flash of Lightning had a bad stumble in his last. John Metcalf and Dr. Filkins are vying for the early lead. Here's Positive Times, ensuring a very quick early tempo. John Metcalf is now back to third as they move into the first turn. Big Vengeance is down on the inside, racing a close-up fourth. He is about 1.5 lengths in front of Chief Resident. Robin Olds just steadied slightly and is under a tight hold, racing on the inside of Doing Time. It's a gap of 5 back to Practical Blame. And at the back of the field is Flash of Lightning. Down the backstretch, and it's the long shot, Positive Times, sprinting along up top. Has a 3-length advantage. John Metcalf very comfortably placed in second. At the rail, it's Dr. Filkins third inside the half-mile pole. And then comes Big Vengeance in fourth. Still Robin Olds and some traffic issues. On the outside of him comes Chief Resident with the yellow cap. Then Doing Time, who's now 9 lengths off the lead, moving around the far turn. Flash of Lightning is trying to get underway. 3 clear of Practical Blame. 1/4 of a mile to go. Positive Times. John Metcalf right up alongside the challenge now. These two arrive at the top of the stretch together, and John Metcalf's white blinkers, joined by Chief Resident on the outside, who's coming after them now, as is Doing Time. Outside of him comes Flash of Lightning. A 16th to go. Still a wide open scramble to the wire, and it is Chief Resident asserting himself late. Chief Resident, huge day for Jaramillo. Second to Flash of Lightning. In front of Doing Time, Robin Olds and John Metcalf. Pick 5, 2,156 even.
The wonderful and talented woman sitting alongside of me needs no introduction. You've seen her almost every day on the Senior Simulcast show. You know a lot about her, but we're going to find out more about her today, at least on the professional side. Her name's Zoe Cadman. Zoe, happy Saturday. Welcome to the seminar.
The fact you said professional and Zoe in the same line.
And wonderful and talented.
Makes me happy already, although as happy as I am right here, I think I'd rather be outside because they've got a great DJ going on outside as we're getting ready to celebrate St. Patrick's weekend here at the Great Race Place.
It's not even noon on the West Coast and they're out there partying up a storm, dancing to disco music, drinking a few adult beverages.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're smiling because you had a rough morning. Technology sometimes can be a wonderful thing, but when it doesn't work, it's a horrible thing.
It's okay.
You've turned the page on it already.
Exactly.
Let's talk about your professional side because we've talked about many times what a good judge of horse flesh you are. And one thing that people might not know is you're very active at the Ocala sales on basically a twice or 3 times a year basis. You go down there, you work with a company called Speedway Stables. Let's first talk about them and the brains and the woman behind that operation.
Yeah, well, it's not me. It's a good friend of mine called Marette Farrell. We've been friends for a long time, and I'm honestly just lucky to be associated. So any free time off, thank you, Santa Anita, that I get, you'll often find me at a sales ground, be it Keeneland September, be it OBS March, April. You know, we buy horses across the gamut, November sale as well, mares. So I'm just lucky to be associated with them and Speedway and X-Line Border and several other people and just basically give my 5 pence worth.
Well, let's look at a few of the runners that Speedway and yourself and others have picked out of the sale, starting with the 2007 Pacific Classic, won by a horse by the name of Collected, who has many progeny on today's card. Let's listen to the stretch run as they turn for home in the 2017 Pacific Classic.
At the top of the lane, Collected, Accelerate went a little wide into the turn. Arrogate now is plugging away on the outside. An 1/8 of a mile to go, and Collected keeps on going. Arrogate is getting going late now. Collected is in front. Arrogate closing on the outside. It's a Bob Baffert 1-2, but Collected gonna win it. Collected and Martin Garcia won the Pacific Classic. Arrogate.
Zoe, you probably remember that race like yesterday. Beating Arrogate is no small feat. Collected actually had a fairly long campaign with a lot of success, and as I mentioned, he's turned out to be a really good stallion. That horse that we just saw the replay in the silks of Speedway Stables.
Yeah, Speedway Stables, Peter and Casey have been in the game probably 10 years now. They were one of Marette's first big clients that we got, and Collected was one of the first few horses that we bought for him. 170,000 at OBS March, and he is just such a dude. He won that race. I'm pretty sure Peter will never sit next to Bob again when he's got 2 in the same race, because we all know that obviously Arrogate was supposed to win that day, and he didn't. And Little Collected, the engine that could, won. And he's really turned out to be quite a good stallion. He's relocated out here to Southern California, and we're looking forward to seeing what he can do. Obviously, Billy Koch and Little Red Feather have
big
had
supporters.
A lot of success with Collected, so we're wishing them the best of luck. He really is a cool little dude.
Another runner who liked the Del Mar racing surface on the main track that you were close with was Corniche, who won the 2021 Breeders' Cup Juvenile, breaking from post position number 12. Once again, let's listen as they turn for home and watch Corniche in action.
Corniche coming to the top of the stretch with the lead of the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. And Giant Game is closing on the outside. Now moving up right alongside of Corniche as they come to the final furlong. Corniche with something left. Giant Game off the rail. Papa Cap trying to split those 2, but it's Corniche. He's just too good. Corniche wins the Breeders' Cup Juvenile.
Zoe, he was just too good on that afternoon. As I mentioned, breaking from post position number 12. As you mentioned, you're very active at the sales. Corniche now becoming a very important stallion with a lot of expensive babies.
Yeah, he was the one horse we all zoned in on. There's myself, Marette, and Tesha von Blucher. Sometimes we call ourselves TMZ, and when Tesha gets mad at me, she calls me Too Much Zoe, is what TMZ stands for. So we all loved him. He was a lot of money back then at the OBS sale, 1.5 million, which now seems kind of cheap. I hate to say it in this market right now. So he was an undefeated 2-year-old winner, champion 2-year-old that year. Never really got a chance to train on, but his babies have come out and started running. Yet to have one to the races, but they were very well received at the OBS April March sale that just went by. In fact, he had one that sold for 1.35 million. So he is well on his way. They've still got to prove it on the racetrack.
Of
though.
course, of course.
But yeah, big thumbs up for him.
Now, you don't need a long-term memory to remember Peter and Bob at least being seen together in the winner's circle, because the San Felipe, the first Saturday in March, was won by Potente at odds of 8-1, trained by Bob Baffert. Once again, this time let's listen to Frank Miramati describe the action as they turned for home in the San Felipe.
So Happy is trying to cling to him. At the rail, Brandt is under heavy pressure. He's dropping out of it. And then behind them comes Secured Freedom. Potente is trying to rally on the outside. Robusta with a 16th to go, shifting in while leading by 2. Potente on the outside of So Happy. Potente is lengthening stride, coming to the wire. Has to get to Robusta. And here is Potente.
Zoe, as I looked at the pedigree, unfortunately, after the race for Potente, I noticed that the second dam was Perfect Sting. Perfect Sting won a Breeders' Cup turf race, had a lot of endurance, but on the turf, Bob, the way this horse finished with Potente coming down the lane, looks like he's going to like any extra distance as well.
Distance is going to be his friend. That was just his second start. When KK got off him the first time when he broke his maiden in not really impressive fashion.
But that was somewhat unexpected, too.
Workman fashion. He said this horse needs to go 2 turns. And you'll note something that is familiar with all the 3 horses we just looked at. Bob Baffert, who's done a terrific job for Speedway Stables and continues to do a great job. Potente, I think Bob was in the winner's circle joking about him. He's like, look at those feet. He's got feet the size of dinner plates. But distance is his friends. And one thing that we do know, should he get to the first Saturday in May, tough horses, they love Churchill Downs.
They sure do. Animal Kingdom comes to mind.
Yeah, so yes, he is a little turfy bred, but he's buy into mischief that seems to overcome just about everything. So wishing Speedway the best of luck with him.
Now, you were at the OBS sales this past week. You came back on Friday morning early so that you could get to work here. But there's some developing news that you're going to be a little bit more active at the OBS sales.
They've got me reading the catalog pages basically when the horses come in the
But
ring.
that's really cool.
It's fun. My work is pretty much done on sales day. We pretty much know which horses we're going after, so I can just go and put on a different hat and read off the pedigrees. It's not as easy as you might think. The first couple of times I did it, it's like being put in front of a firing squad. I was like, oh my God, this is terrible. But it's getting a little bit better.
Zoe's used to being in front of a firing squad. We're going to put her to the test on today's 9-race card, find out who she's like. She's got some strong opinions, but before we do any of that, let's toss the microphone over to track announcer Frank Miramati on Girl Downstairs' birthday and get the early scratches on today's Saturday's card here at the Great Race Place.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Park, the Great Race Place. Track is fast, turf is firm, rail on the turf at 0 feet. And there's a carryover in the Sunset Pick 6 yet again. This time it's $11,950.12. The Sunset 6 starts with Gulfstream's 10th, the last 3 from Gulfstream, the last 3 from the Great Race Place. Here are the early changes on today's program. First race starts the early pick 5. The second is the first leg of the early pick 4. Blinker notes only. The third is the San Simeon. We'll race down the hill in race 3 with no program changes. Race 4 is the start of the $2 pick 6 on races 4 through 9. Also, no changes. Turning to race 5, the late pick 5 and all turf pick 3 offered on race number 5. Just the blinker note. Turning to the 6th, first leg of the late pick 4, number 6, Cosmic Trail, 2 pounds over. The 7th, scratch 1, Grogu. Race 7, take out the 1, late pick 3 begins. 8th race, $5 late double wagering offer. No changes. And in the 9th with super high 5, scratch 1, Oh My Om. Scratch 3, Balaza. Scratch 4, Cool Mariah. 11, Furia. The jockey is Vicente del Cid. And note that both 13 and 14 will run. Enjoy your day at the Great Race Place. Back to Quigley's Corner we go. Special guest today is Zoe Cadman.
Welcome back. We're talking horse with Zoe Cadman. Of course, you know she's part of the San Diego Simulcast team. She's also an Eclipse Award-winning journalist, and she's also a retired jockey. You know, Zoe, it's often difficult for athletes who competed at the highest level, which you did, to retire and never be able to be part of the game again. Do you miss riding at all?
Nope, not at all. I hung up my boots and my whip, and the very next day I was getting on horses for a good old guy called Jerry Calvin at Arlington Park, and just kept on galloping. I never really missed a beat, to be honest, and I could ride right now. I think the fact that I could if I wanted to means that I really don't. If I was unfortunate and had no legs or was in a wheelchair, I'd want to ride every day. But the fact that I can call a friend and go and ride anytime I want just means that I don't. I probably should, but the problem with Southern California is there's really not many places to ride.
Yeah, you know trainers from coast to coast. Do they ever want you to get on a horse in the morning and maybe give it a test spin? You spend a lot of time at Saratoga.
Occasionally.
Yeah, do you ever do it? Do you ever do it?
No. Occasionally there'll be a pony I might get on. But honestly, ponies are worse than racehorses.
Why is
half
that?
the time. Because they can be a-holes. They really can. The most of the time people get hurt on the racetrack is from a pony and not a racehorse.
Interesting. Learn something new every day on this seminar. Let's see if we can learn about who might be some of the winners on today's card, Zoe. Kicking things off in race number 1, where we're on the turf course. Of course, fast and firm conditions today. On the turf course, the rails are at their normal 0 setting. We're sprinting 6 furlongs on the turf course in race 1 for fillies and mares. It's a starter optional claiming race. Also, race 1 begins the popular 50-cent early pick 5. We've got a field of 7. The current favorite at 2-1 is number 3, Rehearsal, off the original morning line of 3-1. Give us your thoughts on race 1, Zoe.
Phil DiMaggio's birthday is coming up. He's going to be turning 50.
Poor guy, and plus he's a grandfather.
Yeah, Monday, somewhere like that. So I'll maybe let him celebrate with Rehearsal. I looked elsewhere. I actually really like the 6, Not a Sinner, in here for Simon Callahan. Simon hits 50% the second time off similar kind of layoffs. This horse squarely needed the last race. Looked terrific in the paddock that day, this 5-year-old mare. You get Fresu back. He was just beaten a neck last time. Now you do have the second place finisher in here as well, and that's Wildfire Princess. And that's kind of, if I'm betting an exacta here, I'm going to box it if it's worth any money whatsoever, because Wildfire Princess's work in the interim is absolutely terrific here. So I was a little bit torn on which one. I just thought maybe there was some more upside with the O'Callahan trained one coming off that layoff, second start off the layoff.
2 questions for you, Zoe, follow-up questions. They relate to both your selections. Number 1, Wildfire Princess, your second choice. You can see has that good improving Beyer speed figure pattern the last 4 races that she's run. They continue to ascend. Do you spend much attention? Do you really give much attention to Beyer speed figures from a handicapping standpoint?
Generally the first thing you look at. If there's a big Beyer speed figure that jumps off the page, I'll be like, ooh, maybe that horse might bounce, or, ooh, that's really good, depending on, maybe they've shortened up in distance, maybe they tried something new for the first time. Generally, horses get bigger numbers in dirt races anyway, so you have to take that into account. And if you've got enough time, you can look at the sheets and look at those. They all correlate in different ways.
And then that race that both Wildfire Princess and Not a Sinner exit back on February 8th, your top two selections, there were basically 3 lapped on each other at the wire. That always concerns me because it's almost like, could 3 horses really run their best effort? Maybe as a jockey and maybe as a handicapper, when everybody's lapped together on the finish line, does that give you pause for cause a little bit?
No.
No?
No, it really doesn't,
Okay.
to be honest.
Okay.
No, I mean, obviously, I have a feeling that Simon Callahan's mare is going to move forward
Sure.
markedly more than Wildfire Princess. But Wildfire Princess was doing something different last time and cutting back in distance, going 6.5. So they're pretty much even as far as I'm concerned.
And both jockeys on your top two selections, Zoe Antonio Fresu and Amicial Jaramillo, are obviously very talented. How important are jockeys to you when you're handicapping?
Pretty important, especially if they're in a slump or on a roll. So every time Jaramillo rides one, was it the last race yesterday? I was like,
Yep.
What about this horse? Was it Doug? No, it was somebody. I can't remember what horse it was.
Yeah.
But I'm like, what about this horse that Jaramillo rides for the first time?
9-1. It was Mark Glatt.
Mark Glatt, exactly. So I'll take that in because he's been on fire of late. And somehow he gets aboard a horse first time and chung, chung, they can't get out of the gate. Chung, there they go. So I don't know, but I do take that into account.
Can thoroughbreds feel confidence in the jockey's hand or
for
mannerisms?
For sure, they can feel confidence. They can feel nervousness. They can feel if you're going to have a stroke. They can feel if you're diabetic. Horses are
If you're hungover.
If you're hungover. I'll tell you what, they look after you when you're hungover.
They already know, huh?
I can attest to that.
Do they have a good sense of smell?
No.
No?
But back in the day, I don't know probably anyone that went into work hungover that fell off. The horse is just having a neat way of just being able to look
balance.
after you.
Sure.
Look after you. You could ask any exercise rider, like, did you ever fall off, on New Year's Day? No, I was fine.
We're the ones that bet on equines.
And you're relaxed.
Yeah, exactly
You're
right.
relaxed.
Exactly right. All right,
Not
Zoe.
that I'm saying you should be hungover.
I never would. Race number 2, we're going 1 mile on the main track for fillies and mares. Race 2 also begins the 50-cent early pick 4. This race is for $10,000 claimers. Field of 5, number 3, Love Our Family, first off the claim for trainer Ron Ellis is the 8-5 Moyline favorite. 5 ways you can go here, Zoe. Which way are you going and why?
I'm going with Ron. I've got 3-1-2 in here. Ron's not really a claiming trainer, so to speak, but the few that he claims do very, very well. And this 6-year-old mare by Jersey Town loves Santa Anita. 8 starts, never been out of the money bar 1 time. 3 wins in 9 starts, I think she breaks through in a big way. You've got one of his go-to riders aboard, Arantes, and he's 17% first off the claim. So Love Our Family will be top pick for me in here with Rousing Jewel for Steve Knapp underneath.
Tier Garden number 2 puts blinkers on for trainer Steve Miotti and has Vicente Del Ced, a new jockey in town who was the leading rider at Delta Downs. He had a win yesterday for trainer Mark Glatt. Early impressions for Vicente?
He's a good little rider. I was glad to see him get a win. Ryan Glatt has his book here at Santa Anita. It's just so hard when you are a new face, especially here at Santa Anita. Myself and Michelle were talking about this yesterday. You've got to get out the box running. You've got to be on mounts that week, and they have to win. Like we saw what Jaramillo did. I think he had a 4-bagger his first weekend here, or at least a 3-bagger. You got to come out the box and you got to get running. And it's not really Ryan Glatt's fault whatsoever. He just hasn't had the mounts that perhaps he should have had coming in. So I'm wishing them the best of luck, but he's got to keep winning. People kind of forget that he finished like 76 in front of the next guy at Delta Downs. That's how much of a stranglehold he had. He was also a Eclipse Award runner-up in the apprentice race. He's a good little rider.
Race number 3 is our feature race on today's card. It's the Grade 3 San Simeon Stakes. We're coming down the hillside turf course. We've got a good field of 6. The morning line favorite on the rail, one of 2 trained in here by Richard Mandela. Sumter, ridden by Mike Smith, 5-2 on the morning line. Before we get your thoughts on the race, Zoe, you wanted to watch a replay, or you wanted to show us a replay, I should say, for Seal Team. This was, I'm sorry, I should say workout. My bad. I might be the one that's hungover.
That's okay.
That's okay. It's a workout for SEAL Team, and this workout was back on March 5th. It's a team drill, and SEAL Team is down on the inside there. Tell us why you wanted to show this workout, Zoe.
Fitness, basically. He's a 6-year-old horse by Warfront, and we need to see him looking good coming off the layoff. Hector Barrios is set to ride. He was beaten a length and a half. We haven't seen him since May of last year. This is what you want to see. Oh, by the way, Look at that final time.
1:11 and change. When do you see Richard Mandela train a horse that fast?
Oh, he can do it.
No doubt that he can do it. He just doesn't do it very often.
Yeah, so that's an exceedingly good work for SEAL team in here. So fitness is key for me. Is he sharp enough to win this race? I'm not really quite sure. I'm trying to basically beat Richard's other horse, which is Sumter Drawn on the Rail, specifically for the fact that he's 0 for 7 down the hill at the distance of 6.5 furlongs. He ran a bang-up race, 2 back. Gas Me Up was much the best in that race, in the Grade 2 Hernandez Stakes. He was never going to beat that horse, but he's been second, he's been third, he's just never won. And he draws the 1 hole, which isn't the best spot down the hill. So I'm looking at Gran Oriente for Marcelo Polanco. Now, he only beat 3 others when
But
he
look
won.
who he beat in second place.
Exactly. Speedboat Beach, who is a Grade 1 winner quite some time ago. I mean,
But he's got a lot of early speed and some ability in class.
So he ran a big number that day, in 92 by a speed figure. I don't know what that equates to on the sheets, but I'm sure it's pretty darn good. He gets Ayuso back aboard, and I'm going to take a swing with Gran Oriente purely for the fact that he handled the hillside very, very well as well.
Question for you, Zoe, on your top selection, Gran Oriente. He also added the blinkers last time out. As a jockey, can you sometimes tell when a runner needs an equipment change, whether it would be blinkers on or blinkers off?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's just the simple case of whatever you're doing is not working. Let's change it up. I'm not going to say you could be like, oh, this horse needs blinkers and it's going to be great. But it's like the sign of madness. If you do the same thing over and over again, you're mad.
Same thing's going to happen.
The same thing's going to happen.
Right.
You're expecting a different result. So the fact that Marcelo opted to change things up, and sometimes the jock will come to the trainer and be like, hey, boss, you know, I think this horse is a bit rank with the blinkers on. Let's take them off. Let's cut them back. There are many different ways that you can skin a cat.
During the running of a race, does a horse sometimes tend to look around? In other words, would blinkers refocus them, or are they focused on business and looking just straight ahead?
No, blinkers can focus them. A shadow roll can focus them. A different distance, a different rider can
Cheek
focus
pieces?
them. Cheek pieces, which I wish were notated in the form like they are in Europe. That's got to happen one of these days, does it not? DRF, you listening?
They're in Las Vegas at the National Handicapping
Hello?
Championship.
They are, but that would be very nice.
Race number 4 begins the $2 pick 6. The 1 mile theme continues here, this time on the main track. $10,000 claimers, non-winners of 3 races lifetime. A field of 6, number 4, Mongolian Max from the Paul Aguirre barn. 9 to 5 on the morning line. Last call, Paul, last time out, stretched out for the first time and hit the winner's circle. A lot of ways you can go here, Zoe. Which way are you going?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the favorite, Mongolian Max in here. No major opinion in here. Paul Aguirre's a good guy, good trainer, good caretaker. The fact that he's given this horse ample time since that last race means maybe he's going to show up a little bit more, be a bit more punchy. So I like Mongolian Max in here. And Aguilar, really good on these lower level claimers because he will give you some bang for your buck. So I do like Mongolian Max. Last call, Paul ran a terrific race, the best race he's run in quite some time, but he's just 1 for 16 at Santa Anita. And the first time you stretch out is always the best time. I don't know if you'll get quite such a result the second time.
Fair enough. 4 and 2 in race number 4 with last call Paul given extra consideration as well. Zoe, before we take a look at race number 5, you were one of the few people representing Santa Anita at the funeral for John Sheriffs, trainer John Sheriffs. And tomorrow up in the Director's Room Turf Club, we're going to have a celebration of life for him. What did John mean to you as a person? Forget about him as a trainer, but talk to us about your personal relationship with John.
John was great. John was just a brilliant human being. Inspector Gadget, a lot of people might not realize that John, as old school as he was, 80 years old, you wouldn't expect him to have an iPhone or an iWatch. He had 3. He wore a watch on each arm. He had every gadget known to man to help a horse. He just did everything new school and old school. He used to get mad at me when I'd call him a patient trainer. And I'd be like, well, how old's that one? How many works has it had, John? Are you being patient with that one? Zoe, I'm the most impatient trainer. I just want to run a horse when they're ready. And if you look at his strike rate with maidens and first-time starters, it was actually very, very good indeed because he didn't want to run a horse until he felt they were ready. So he was patient and impatient at the same time. He was new school and old school. And he was just a good guy. There aren't many trainers now in this industry who have a team that works for him as long as his team did. And they all loved him. It was nice to see his grooms and hot walkers show up at
and
the
also
funeral,
in the winner's circle here.
and in the winner's circle. Just Fabulous. And, Mario, the groom for Zenyatta, who's been with him for 40 years, is now working for Aggie O'Donis.
That's fantastic.
So it's great.
There'll be plenty of laughs and plenty of tears tomorrow for the celebration of life. And folklore has it, Zoe, that Zenyatta maybe had a sip or two of Guinness. Is that a common thing over in your home country?
It's very good for them, actually. It's very good for them, not just over in my country, but here as well. Beer's good for horses.
Race number 5 begins both the 50-cent late pick 5 as well as the $3 all turf pick 3 with a reduced 15% takeout. This race is being run 6 furlongs on the flat turf course for Calbred, allowance optional claiming types, non-winners of 1 other than. A good field of 11 here. Number 10, Tiz's Harbor is a first-time gelding. Number 2, Bro from the Doug O'Neill barn is the lukewarm 7-2 Maury line favorite. Thumbs up or thumbs down on the favorite here, Zoe?
I'm going elsewhere, and it might be a little dicey because I'm trusting in Jaramillo here, who rides the 11 Grays. A horrible post on the outside. The rails aren't out, so that's a good thing. You get the blinkers off. Peter Miller, 31% with the blinkers off. I like the fact that Jaramillo rode this horse last time, stretching out with the blinkers off, in for the 20 today. He's a must-use for me in here, so I really like him, and I'm going to back him up with Maury Wills for Phil D'Amato, the 6-year-old gelding, coming in with a good series of works. I did like that work on the 2nd of March. So he's going to be a little bit of a price.
We talked about Beyer speed figures, Zoe, of course, being an important element in your handicap, and you've mentioned workouts a few times as well. Where does workouts fit into your whole scenario? In other words, if you see a breathtaking workout with a horse who maybe doesn't have a Beyer speed figure stacking up to his or her competition, would you upgrade that horse's chances because of the most recent workout?
I think you have to know the horses, which is why First TV is such a good source, because you can go back, you look at a good workout, and you're like, wow, that's amazing. But then you look back, see the horse got beat for 10, you look at the work before he got beat for 10.
And it's just as amazing.
And it's just as amazing. Right. So then you're like, off. So that's one of the major tools of First TV. In fact, it's funny, I was looking at the last race today. Unfortunately, we have a few scratches out of there, but the last race, we have almost every single work for every horse in that last race. And it's a credit to Teresa and Dane and everybody on the First TV team that gets all these workouts. So well done to them, and it's really helpful, especially with maidens.
Absolutely free of charge, easy to use. Yeah. It's like using Google. Just put the horse's name in the search box.
Easier than Google.
Up pop the horse's workouts. It's a phenomenal tool. Yeah. And you mentioned all the people behind the scenes who make it happen. I mean, it's countless man hours and women hours to put that product together so that handicappers can make better informed decisions.
And Leslie and Lisa, who have to do the bulk of the editing, I do not envy their task whatsoever.
Spelling of horses' names, who's inside, who's outside.
Yeah, it's pain.
It is. Race, hats off to our entire crew, needless to say. Race number 6 begins the 50-cent late pick 4. We're sprinting 6 furlongs on the main track. Maiden claimers, $20,000 is the claiming tag. A field of 6. Soy Win from the Val Brinkerhoff barn is 8-5 on the Maury line. I've never had Val on the seminar, but you know what? I want to get him on here because he seems like a happy-go-lucky guy. He's a real horseman.
Val's awesome. I love his teeth would look really good on him.
And I think he's stable next to the Hansons, or at least he was, isn't he? He's kind of like a next door neighbor to the Hansons.
I think he's closer to the racetrack.
Okay, but nevertheless, Val would be a good guest. He settles the favorite here. We're going to see him in the winner's circle?
Yeah, you are. I've got 4-1 in here, and I love the fact that Victor Espinoza gets a leg up. And let me tell you something about Victor. Is people might worry about him riding these $20,000 claimers or what have you. Victor, there is no fear in Victor. I said to him one day, I don't know whether you're just have no fear or you're stupid sometimes, but he'll ride just about anything and give them a good ride.
And look at his stats for the meet as well. He's only had 26 mounts up so far this meet, but he's been very productive. 6 wins, 3 seconds and 1/3. He's riding at a high level despite his quote unquote advanced age.
Yeah, and he's doing it because he wants to, and he genuinely likes horses, which I like to see. I like to see horse jocks that get on a horse and give them a pet. When they're in the winner's circle, give them a pet. You know, this horse just laid down for you. Be nice to the horses.
We see that with Johnny V a lot, and I'm sure there's other jockeys, but Johnny V comes to mind as well. A couple of questions for you, Zoe, related to the inside 2 runners. One's a long shot, one's a bit of a favorite. Treximo and Nash for Cash. They're both second career time starters, and that's what I wanted to ask you about. There are many handicappers who think a horse's biggest improvement in their career starts from their debut to their second lifetime start. Do you buy that, or is that a bunch of hogwash?
No, you can buy it to a certain extent. I think I like to watch them in the paddock prior to their second race, because sometimes horses, the light bulb will come on and it's a good thing. And then sometimes the light bulb will come on and it's a strobe light and it's doing this, and the horse is going absolutely crazy in their second start. So it's good to watch them in the paddock and see, especially one like Treximo today. We'll see what he does for Ryan Hansen, because he set the pace last time, ran a good race. You're getting Adrian Escobedo, know that guy in the morning, because he gets on a lot of horses for Ryan in the morning. But he might be wound up. He might be tight as a drum this time, and that might not be a good thing.
Race number 7 begins at $3 late pick 3, also with a reduced 15% takeout. We're going 1 mile on the turf course, allowance optional claiming types, non-winners of 2 other than. There is one scratch. Scratch the 1 leaves us with a field of 9. Morning line favorite is on the bottom, number 10 from the Jeff Mullins barn. Again, a lukewarm 7-2 morning line favorite. Before we get your thoughts on the race, Zoe, another workout courtesy of FirstTV.com. This is for Lord Bullington back on March 1st. It's on the main track. It's a team drill. That's Lord Bullington on the outside. Why'd you want to show this workout?
I was actually going to show a couple in here. The horse on the outside we'll talk about in just a moment, outside of this field. But as we take a look at Lord Bullington, he's a little bit rank when he sets off, and that's kind of his MO. He gets Kimura aboard him. I have a sneaky feeling that they're going to kind of let this guy go. Last time he didn't get off to a very good start whatsoever. And you can see he doesn't like being taken a hold of. So with KK aboard him, he comes in with a good work, second off the layoff, which is key, why I wanted to see him. How's he doing since he ran that day? He's better than he showed last time, purely because he got into trouble at the start. So I'm going to use Lord Bullington off that work. He's a little bit of a price in here. He's 15-1 on the morning line. Just look at his extension coming down the lane. We're running on the turf. This is on the dirt here, and he gallops out very nicely indeed. So I do like that, but I do like Centro Delantero best in here for trainer Jeff Mullins, who he's having a career year, isn't he?
Sure is.
Winning at 28%, comes out of a key race. City Exile and Enter the Dragon both came back to win their next starts with good bias speed figures. He will be cutting back in distance today, but that shouldn't be a problem. He won going a mile over the Del Mar turf course. So I really like him, especially with Berrios back aboard.
And Zoe, we talked about Little Red Feather and Collected, them being big supporters of the sire Collected. There's Ironman Cal, coming back off the July 2025 layoff. If you look through the running lines for Ironman Cal, you'll remember his performance in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf as a 2-year-old. Very, very strong performance at odds of 29-1. First time Lasix today. Good luck to Ironman Cal in race number 7 and all of his ownership connections. Race number 8 begins the $5 late daily double, also with a reduced 15% takeout. We're sprinting 6.5 furlongs on the main track for fillies and mares, allowance optional claiming types, non-winners of 1 other than. A field of 6 morning line favorite down on the rail, number 1 Artisma, who likes to finish second but doesn't necessarily win a whole lot. Before we get your thoughts on the race, Zoe, one more workout to show would be for the bottom runner from the Peter Barn. We're looking at it right now, number 6, Into the Hall. This was back on February 21st, another main track drill, and Into the Hall is down on the inside in this drill.
Yeah, into the hall inside, you can see Amy, who used to work for John Sheriff's, on the outside. And this is a good work. I've picked this filly on top. She's by Into Mischief out of a Graham Hall mare, Belle of the Hall. She's coming off a win. That was in December 2025. When trained by John Sheriff's, I believe that's Hector Berrios on her in the morning. And it's just a nice work. I wanted to see how she behaved in Peter Urton's barn. Everyone trains differently, right?
Sure.
So if you're moving a horse from John Sheriff's, who trains late in the day and does his own thing, to Peter Urton, who doesn't train late in the day. There's different things for different people, right? Whatever works. I wanted to see how she's adjusted to being in the Peter Urton barn. She looks just fine there. She skips along with Berrios aboard. Berrios always has a loose rein on any horse he ever works, so don't worry about that. And I thought it was a fitting name, too, because, you know, we lost John Sheriff's. He's been on the ballot a few times for the Hall of Fame. Into the Hall. I mean, he's got to get in this year now, does he not?
No doubt about it. Unfortunately, it's a little too late, and I wish that more inductees would be inducted while they're still
Correct.
alive to enjoy that particular honor. And
He'll be watching.
No doubt about it, up in the big racetrack in the sky. Into the Hall, they paid a lot of money for this daughter of Into Mischief. They paid close to $1 million for her. She's done okay up to this point, but CRK Stable, a big supporter of both John Sheriff's and Southern California racing.
Yeah. And Peter Urton has a lot of horses, so it was kind of a logical decision to send her to Peter Urton.
Let's take a look at race number 9. We close out the day in race number 9 offering $1 super high five wagering. Grab a pen. There's a few scratches in this particular field. 1, 3, and 4 have all been declared out of the race. That's the bad news. The good news is both 13 and 14 do draw into the body of the field. Number 11, Fury, is now be ridden by Vicente Del Cid. The morning line favorite is likely to be probably number 8, a great shaking from the Ryan Hansen barn. There's that tandem, Zoe, of Ryan Hansen and Adrian Escobedo. You like the favorite here? You're looking elsewhere.
Well, I mean, obviously, originally 5 minutes ago, I had it 3-1-2. So I just did some quick handicapping here, and I put Ryan on top. A great shaking with Escobedo. I thought this filly by arm ran very well first out on the grass with Escobedo. So I like her. And then I also used the 2 grazing in the grass for Tim Yakteen. Little green in his latest work, but really got over the ground nicely. And that was the main track. We'll be running on the grass. But now I just realized the 13 draws in Conquest Sioux for Rockingham Ranch. You get Jaramillo back aboard after setting the pace, going 6.5. Watch out for Conquest Sioux.
Rockingham Ranch, the Gary, obviously the primary person behind Rockingham Ranch, Gary Hartunian, thank you so much, is now the owner of Turf Paradise. Have you taken a stroll over to Turf Paradise since they've been under new management?
I have not, but I look forward to seeing what they're doing because they're trying something different. And I believe Tom Lute, who used to work here at Santa Anita, has taken the reins. So wishing them the best of luck.
They could be an important cog in the West Coast racing portfolio.
They've got to put in a lot of money into a place that basically they're renting. So there's a lot of work to be done because it was not in good shape when they took it over.
Horse racing is an interesting dynamic, isn't it? No matter whether you're on the ownership side, the handicapper side, it's a fascinating sport.
How'd you like to have a normal job, 9 to 5? That would be terrible.
With 4 walls surrounding you and never be able to enjoy the outside.
That'd kill me.
And you can't make any money. I mean, you get a salary, but you can't make a big score like you can at the racetrack.
Yeah, so no, I'm quite happy.
Let's make some money today, love.
Oh, plan on it.
Thanks for your time, your insight, everything, Zoe, and good luck with all your picks today. As you can see on the graphic before we go, $1 Coast to Coast Pick 5. That starts with Gulfstream Park race number 9, 1:54 p.m. Pacific time. And the news of the day, as you've been seeing, the Sunset 6 has a carryover close to $12,000 every day. That's a $1 minimum, also with a low 15% takeout. That always combines the last 3 races at Gulfstream Park with the last 3 races at Santa Anita. It always pays well. And today's sequence starts with Gulfstream Park race 10. Post time for that will be 2:25 p.m. Pacific time. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you have a great early St. Patrick's Day celebration. Hope you pick a lot of winners. We'll do it all again tomorrow, 11:50 a.m. start time for the seminar. Have a great afternoon and good luck.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem. Good afternoon, and welcome to Santa Anita Park, the great race place. Track conditions are brought to you by John Deere. The track is fast, the turf firm, rail on the turf at 0 feet. There are no scratches in race number 1. We do remind you about the Sunset Pick 6 carryover, 11,000 plus. It starts with Gulfstream's 10th. Last 3 at Gulfstream, last 3 at Santa Anita. In the second, just a blinker note as well. The third is the San Simeon with no program changes. There are no changes in the fourth, start of our $2 pick 6. In the fifth, all turf pick 3 wagering is offered, as well as the late pick 5. Sixth race is the first leg of the late pick 4. These blinker notes you see daily are on the bottom of your program page. In the 6th, number 6, Cosmic Trail, 2 pounds over. Race 7 starts the late pick 3, scratch 1, Grogu. 8th race, beginning of the late double. No changes, and in the 9th, Super High 5 is offered. Scratch 1, Oh My Om. Scratch 3, Balaza. Scratch 4, Cool Mariah. Number 11, Furia. The jockey Vicente del Cid, 13 and 14 run. Enjoy your day at the great race place. We have the Coast to Coast pick 5. Every Friday, Saturday.